Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Agent Psycho, and we're gonna get started on the 42nd chapter, answer like this one too, of the Exploring the Arsenal series, featuring the RPG-7, and in other words, it stands for a Rocket-Propelled Grenade Mark 7 rocket launcher. This is the second in line of rocket launchers that you can unlock in the GP shop, and yeah, let's get right into this review. Now, obviously, you need to take into consideration that I can't really treat this the same as other weapons, like, how I would talk about, like, stuff like recoil spread, recoil kickback, and whatnot. I can't really talk about that, obviously, here, because this is a rocket launcher. I mean, rocket launchers, they have recoil, sure, but, it's single fire, and, the reload time is just, they're just single fire anyway, and to be honest, and to be blunt with you, there's no real point to modeling these, gun review or the gun review on the RPG-7 as identical to other gun reviews. So I'm going to be instead making this review very similar to the Law review. In fact, much of the things I talk about in the Law rocket launcher review will bleed over into this review as well. So if there's anything that you are not sure about what I'm talking about, then always go back and just search up YouTube Agent Psycho Law rocket launcher review and just watch that video. And most of the things that I talk about here that I don't necessarily explain will be explained in that review as well. So yeah, the game as pertains to the gameplay itself, I am playing a non-emodded room, otherwise I get kicked on oil rig, and I do have a couple fails in this gameplay. So whether or not you want to enjoy that, that's up to you, but just watch along the gameplay and they'll come up. So yeah. So let's get started on the RPG-7's raw stats. Once again, I am looking at Common Arms Wiki because of the reasons said before. But anyways, the Common Arms Wiki states that the damage on the RPG-7 is at a 70. Now, this is kind of like I mentioned before in the Law rocket launcher review, because the RPG-7 is an explosive. The 70 damage, in my opinion, just it just talks about the damage in general. Like, what's the average amount of damage you will be dealing to your enemy? And like, if you take all the situations that you use your RPG-7 in, and and all the situations where you actually hit your enemy with the rocket launch with an RPG, like how much damage you'll be doing on average. That's why I think the damage is trying to stay here, because if you direct impact or hit someone within its maximum blast radius, or like its maximum damage area within its blast radius, it will deal a solid 86 damage. And the RPG-7 will deal the same amount of damage if you just point it straight down to the ground and shoot yourself, assuming you don't have your spawn shield on. It will deal a clean 86 damage to yourself as well. So you have a little bit of leeway with the RPG-7 in terms of like self-inflicted damage. Like, if you're one of those trolls where you go around like, what is it? Explosive hazard like, and danger close means nothing, like absolutely fucking nothing to you. Then the RPG-7 is a little bit forgiving, but still it's an explosive, so there's not really much you can do on that respect. You blow yourself up, you blow yourself up. So there's not really much to it than that. So there you go. Just know that the RPG-7 deals a solid 86 damage and nothing more than that within its maximum blast radius. Moving on to the portability. The portability on the rocket launcher, the RPG rocket launcher, is a 50. So it is pretty heavy. It's not as heavy as, say, like your standard machine gun per se, but it is definitely heavy. So it's kind of like stranded in the middle of like the spectrum in terms of portability across like the weapon spectrum. Like it sits between like the RPGs. Oh no, what am I talking about? It sits between the machine guns and like the heavy assault rifles, like the G36E and AK-47 and stuff like other weapons like that. So definitely faster, definitely slower than like your AK-47 or something like that, but definitely a lot faster than your average machine gun. Moving on to the, let's see here, the rate of fire. Well, it's kind of hard to talk about the rate of fire because the RPG-7, just like the Law, is a single fire weapon, which means that after you fire each shot, you gotta reload it. So, the rate of fire isn't really something you should be too concerned with. Like, I remember in my Law rocket launcher review, I said that if I were to give a numerical statistic to the Law's the Law's rate of fire, then I would have to give it something like along the lines of a 5. But for the RPG-7, the rate of fire, quote unquote, it's in all honesty, it's the reload speed. But I guess I'll touch upon this again once I get around to talking about the reload speed as well. But the rate of fire on the RPG-7 is definitely faster than it is on the Law rocket launcher, simply because of the fact that it does have a faster reload animation and reload time and reload speed. So there you go. Moving on to the accuracy. Now, the accuracy on the RPG-7 is 100. Believe it or not, I said that as well for the Law rocket launcher, because in all honesty, the Law and the RPG, mechanically speaking and performance-wise, are exactly identical to each other in terms of how they behave and how they are used. Both the Law and the RPG have perfectly straight trajectories. Wherever you aim, it will go there. It just takes time, but it will definitely go there. So in a sense, it's actually more accurate than a sniper rifle. But I mean, it's a projectile, so it's not like a bullet hit scan. So the RPG and the Law are indeed identical in the fact that they do fire their rockets in a perfectly straight line. If you miss, it's entirely your fault and not the weapons. So think twice when you miss with an RPG and start raging at it, because it's not your rocket's fault. It's your fault. So there you go. The accuracy is technically perfect on the Law rocket launcher and the RPG-7. Recoil-wise, recoil, you don't really need to worry about recoil because, first of all, it's a single-fire weapon, so recoil does not matter at all. So you don't really need to care about, recoil. Who cares about recoil on explosives? And so, I mean, for some reason, Nexon did give it a 55 recoil rating, but why they did that is beyond me. Just like how they gave that recoil rating to Law. Like, this is a waste of time. Why do you even bother? So, but anyways, that's just my little train of thought there. Now, moving on to other non-statistical things, like just trivial things. I do apologize for the mic thing. Killa2199 is being a bitch again with his fucking mic. I swear to God, I'm gonna kick him from my friends list if he doesn't fix his fucking mic soon. But anyways, that's besides the point. Other non-statistical, just trivial things about the RPG-7. The sprint drawback it's pretty much the same as the Law rocket launcher. In fact, most of the things about the Law rocket launcher in terms of how it's portrayed, mechanically speaking, to in game is actually pretty similar, if not identical, to the RPG-7's. The only real difference that there is between the RPG-7 and the Law rocket launcher is that the RPG-7 is a little bit stronger. It deals 6 more damage, and also it has a much faster reload time. So if you guys have used the Law rocket launcher before, you would know that the Law rocket launcher, one of its main disadvantages is the fact that its reload speed is not very good. In fact, it's pretty slow. It takes like 3 or 4 seconds to reload another rocket into your Law rocket launcher, or to bring up another tube again. However, the RPG on the other hand, because it is like a reusable tube, like the Law rocket launcher in real life, it's a single-use weapon. You use it, you fire one rocket, and that's it. You can't use the tube again, unless I'm mistaken. However, the RPG-7, you can use it however many times as you want, as long as, you just clean it and stuff like that, so you make sure it doesn't, like, blow up on your face whenever you try to use it while it's dirty. But, the RPG-7, in any case, the point is that you can use it, multiple times, and that's why it has a faster reload speed, generally speaking. So, that's a main advantage that the RPG-7 offers over the Law rocket launcher. The fact that it reloads a lot more quickly. Maybe it reloads in like 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, as opposed to the Law's 3 or 4 second reload. So that's definitely an advantage in itself. Well, as for everything else here, I guess that's all I have to say about the RPG-7. The RPG, like the Law rocket launcher, does come with 3 rockets total. It starts with 1 rocket already preloaded once you spawn in, and yeah, you have 3 shots in it, and make sure you make them count. So, yep. And as opposed to like key physical characteristics, I mean, if you don't know what an RPG looks like, I mean, the RPG by this moment in time and in its place in just world politics and in society in general, the RPG is fairly widely known. I mean, you could take like the average person off the streets, and you could say, "Hey, what does an RPG look like?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, RPG. I've heard an RPG. It looks something like this, right?" Hopefully they don't say like, "Oh, it's a game," but anyways, most people obviously know what an RPG looks like, because I mean all the war, pop culture and whatnot. So I don't know if you guys know what I'm trying to talk about, but whatever. The point is that the RPG-7, if you don't know what it looks like, I mean, it's pretty distinct. It looks pretty unique, and it's pretty hard to mistake an RPG for something else. So if you see an RPG, then yeah, you know it's an RPG. Muzzle noise. The muzzle noise on the RPG-7 is actually surprisingly quiet for an RPG. While the Law makes like some sort of whooshing sound, like a whoosh sound. I don't know. I suck at recreating gun noises, but the RPG-7 makes like a I don't really want to say silent, but it makes like a you know, a quieter pew sound. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can imagine that if you guys don't have sound, but there you go. So, attachment options, like every other rocket launcher and combat arms, you can't really attach anything to the RPG, so nothing too special there. Let's see. Quarantine, I mean, obviously, explosives are extremely effective against zombies, so definitely take them with you. Especially if you want to go around zombie slaying and you don't have, like, spec gear. Rocket explosives, like the rocket launchers, is definitely a good idea. So, there you go. As for my frank personal opinions, the RPG-7 to me personally is more of a troll weapon than anything. I mean, you know, there are people who do use the rocket launchers effectively as support weapons and to clear out people who are, you know, who happen to be camping around corners or camping in like hard to reach places. But to me, in all honesty, I would much prefer just going around running and gunning. I mean, the only times I would ever use the RPG is, you know, to troll people or in quarantine to slay zombies. But, yeah, I mean, the RPG-7 is pretty effective. I believe it's a lot more effective than the Law Rocket Launcher. And a little bit of background information it does that I forgot to give you in the beginning of this video is that the RPG-7 is unlocked at the rank of Sergeant First Class 2, and it costs 900 GP a day. That's another advantage that the Law or the RPG offers over the Law Rocket Launcher. The fact that it is 100 GP, a little bit more expensive, but I think it's well worth it because it's just 100 GP, a little bit more expensive, and I think that's a well placed investment there. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This will wrap up the review on the RPG-7 Rocket Launcher. And in the next episode, I believe I will be covering the guns or the weapons unlocked at Master Sergeant 1 because I tried going around finding other weapons that are unlocked at Sergeant First Class, the rank of Sergeant First Class, but I couldn't find it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. You can shit that the net.